Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Wednesday, September 18th. It is Federal Reserve Day. And as you listen to this, I am hopefully stepping off of an airplane after taking a red eye back from the West Coast so that I could be at work for this momentous day. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in 4.5 years, the Federal Reserve Bank of the United States will be reducing interest rates. My guess is it will be 0.25 percentage point. Could it be more? Sure, it could be 0.5 percentage point. I just think it's more likely that it's 0.25 percentage point. What's going to be interesting will be how Jerome Powell navigates his press conference and to see if there's any news that he makes. My guess, this guy's pretty, I think, on message. And I'm guessing that he's going to tell us everything's data dependent. You know, we might go by 0.25 point next time. We might go by 0.5 point. Maybe we'll skip a meeting. In other words, we know the direction we're going. Rates are going down. We don't know how quickly rates will drop. And we also don't know exactly how, where we will end. And this is incredibly important because where we're not going is back to 0% interest. I can almost guarantee that. When we were at 0% interest rates, it means, or when we have been, because it's happened a couple of times, when we have been at 0% interest rates and the Fed funds rates, it's not just, oh, I get juicy low rate mortgages. It's, oh my gosh, the economy is in big bad trouble. So we don't want to root for that. We really don't. What we really want to root for is that we get to a place where, you know, you can get decent amount of interest on your savings and checking accounts, where the inflation rate is kind of come down and been under control, and the economy can keep growing and creating jobs. That's what we're hoping for, a more balanced economy. But we don't know when it will be. I don't know. I'm guessing maybe it's 3% in the Fed funds rate. So we're at 5.25 to 5.5 right now. It'll take a bit to get there, but we'll get there. We'll see. Anyway, if you've got a question about the Federal Reserve, about refinancing, about anything like that, if you're worried about you're starting a new business and maybe you shouldn't because the interest rates are still too high to make a go of it, anything like that that's interest rate related, of course, we're happy to walk you through that. Just go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and let us know if you want to come on the air live with us. While you're on the website, don't forget to subscribe for the upcoming webinar. You have to be a member of Jill on Money Live, which means you have plunked down $35. But our next webinar is coming up Tuesday, September 24th, less than a week. And we are doing a real estate palooza. We have a realtor, we have a mortgage broker. Mark will be there. I will be there. And we're going to be talking about what's going on in the marketplace. We'll have a few more days to see how mortgage rates react to this Fed meeting. So it's going to be interesting to see. So I hope you join us. It should be a blast. Now, today we are going to talk to Chris, who is a listener from Pennsylvania. So Chris, how are you? What can we do for you today?
Hey, thank you so much. I'm doing great. And thanks for taking my call today. I really appreciate it.
Sure. What's up?
So just would like to understand, my husband and I, how we're staged for retirement, going into retirement. And
are you close? Are you close?
Yeah, I'm close. I just turned 56 and he'll be turning 62.
An older man. Is he already retired or is he still working?
No, he's still working. He's still working. That. Yeah. And we have 2 kids. So one's 24, the other is 21. So the second one just graduated from college.
Yeah.
The other one will finish up next December.
So the one who just graduated, let's talk about this. Is this one who's sort of still on the payroll?
Somewhat. Yeah, but close, but very close to moving on.
Okay. And tell me that the 21-year-old is like totally pre-professional and is doing something fabulous. So you're never going to have to worry about the second one.
Absolutely. They're both in the medical field.
Oh, okay. All right. Listen, that's great. That is great.
So, yeah. The other one just passed some, the 24, she, passed boards, et cetera. So now she's looking aggressively. Oh. And so she should be set very shortly. And the other one, like I said, next year.
Are you guys in the medical field or health field? Because they both went into it. I'm just wondering.
No, but we're in science-related type jobs.
So how much longer do you guys want to work?
We're thinking 2 more years. That'll get our second daughter, through college.
Yes.
And then at that point, be 64, and I'll be about 57 and a half, 58.
Mm-hmm.
So right about there would be the time frame.
Are either of you entitled to a pension?
Both of us.
Stop. I mean,
Yeah.
this is like this is my favorite part of the conversation. Okay. So, Chris, how much will your pension be? And when are you allowed to take that pension?
Yeah. So that's the thing. 65. I mean, I could take it earlier, but it would be
haircut.
It'd be worthless. So it would be around, and this is just without survivor benefits, it'd be about $2,600.
$2,600 a month at age 65.
At 65, yeah.
And is that a cost of living adjustment type of pension, or is there no adjustment?
No adjustment.
What about the husband's pension? What's that look like?
Okay, so his would be about $3,800, and that's with survivor benefits. It'd be a little bit more with if he took the no survivor benefit, but $3,800.
And at what age? Also 65 or not?
No, that would be at 64.
So that kicks in very quickly. Very good. That's why, is that why you're thinking 2 years? Like 2 years get him to his moment and then boom, turn on the spigot. Okay, great.
Right.
So in addition to these pensions, have you guys saved some money?
We have.
Tell us.
Yeah. So we have 401k.
Mm-hmm.
I have 1.4.
Mark, there's something wrong with my connection. I think someone just called me who's got 2 pension checks and says she has $1.4 million in a 401k and wants to know about retirement.
And there's more to come.
The reason, I mean, I would still have medical. My husband's the one that's more concerned.
Okay,
I feel like
get him on the line. Let's get him going. All right, let's keep doing let's
Good.
Just look at the assets.
I mean, this is what I think too, because I think, and at what point, my second question would be, at what point, like, where do we pull from first? Because
that's
as we get into these numbers, I'll explain why.
And I'm going to tell you what, because that actually seems like a more reasonable question, because I'm going to tell you already that I can tell you got a bunch of money saved and you probably don't spend that much. But okay, let's keep going with the assets. Okay, so 1.4 is your 401k, right?
Yeah, and
now
he is so he is a 403b. Now we stopped putting into this a long time ago. 63 in his 403b, and then we have.
You said 63,000.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay, so then we have he has a rollover about 90. Okay,
and this is all pre-tax, right?
This is all pre-tax so far.
Yep.
And he'll also get a lump sum upon retirement.
Oh, geez. This guy's awash in cash. Okay.
And that should be right around like 220-ish.
Okay. 220-ish. Okay, great.
Okay.
Keep going, girl.
And then we each have a Roth. Mine's around 115 and his is around 130.
Okay.
And then I have some utility stock.
Oh, how fun.
That I've had for a long time.
Did you have a parent who worked there?
No, it's from a grandparent from many years ago. So I have it for many, many years. It's worth about $27K now.
Okay. What about a brokerage account?
128.
And money in the bank?
We only have about 30,000 in the bank.
Okay. How about your house? You own your house?
Yeah, we own our house. It's worth probably around $250.
Any mortgage remaining?
No.
Any second homes, rental properties, fun stuff like that?
Yeah, we have a rental property.
Oh, brother, the money just keeps pouring in with these two, Mark.
Well,
okay.
Well, what happened was, we have this rental property. We were planning to sell it, to just fix it up and sell it, but we kept it. So it's worth about, I'd say, like 160-ish.
Okay.
And we get about $1,200 a month from it.
Net or gross?
Gross.
Okay. Okay. Is there a mortgage that's outstanding on the 160?
No.
Okay. So, ready for your big bonus question?
Ready.
How much money do you guys spend?
I would say we probably spend around $7,000 a month. Now, it could even be, it could be slightly less than that at times, but I think lately we've had this, like, my daughter finished up her last year of college. We paid that. We had some other larger expenses over the past year, so we kind of drained down our savings, our cash savings.
And for, just so I'm clear about this, the $7,000 a month, where do you get your health insurance through? You or your husband, or do you guys do it separately?
My husband.
And so when he retires, you'll lose that?
Yes.
Okay. So we do have to factor in, I don't know, another $1,000 or $1,200 a month for health insurance, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll say $8,000. Maybe I'll say $9,000 in case there's kids stuff also, just for the
yeah, because we would definitely like help them set up and things like that.
I know it's not enough that you educated them and you raised them, you fed them, you clothed them. Now they expect you to buy them furniture. Okay, so this all sounds great. Are there any other assets that are floating around? And things like double E bonds or inflation bonds, I bonds, or maybe it's a cash value life insurance policy, anything like that?
No, I don't think so. The only other thing would be, we would get Social Security at some point.
Oh, yeah, I know that. Well, let's talk about your Social Security. Do you know the numbers at 67 and 70?
Yeah, so at 67, and we're both right around the same numbers, would be about 3,100 each.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great.
And then 3,800 at 70.
Okay. So I think you know this. You're obviously fine. Okay. You have a lot of money that you have accumulated, and you have a lot of money that will be coming in cash flow wise, right? So,
yes.
I mean, so in 2 years, let's look at different distinct periods here. So for the next couple of years, I don't think you really need to be putting money in your 401k. I don't know if you are actively, are you or not?
Oh, so I did decrease that this year. I was maxing it out and I dropped it down to 15%. So right now, and it's going into a Roth. I switched to the Roth 401 about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Most of it is pre-tax, but they're, the last 2 years. And like I said, I decreased it because I felt like we needed more of a cash reserve versus anything into the 401k.
I mean, that's great. So the active savings that is occurring right now would be the 15% into your Roth. He's no longer doing the 403b, right?
No, he is not.
Okay. And so extra money that's floating around, if you do have some, is that going into your brokerage account right now, or where is it usually gone?
I have it going into my Roth.
Mm-hmm.
So I do max out my Roth, and typically, if there's any left over, into his Roth as well. I've not put too much more into the brokerage account.
Okay. And is it your intention to just keep the rental property for as long as it's not too big a pain in the neck?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, like I said, we did anticipate initially selling it. And then we thought, the way the market was, we thought, we'll just hold on to it for a while and also see where, what happens with, with our kids, just like temporarily in case it was needed. So we just started renting it. But, we would potentially probably consider selling it in a couple of years.
Okay. So in 2 years, your husband claims his pension. And that will be cash flow. And obviously we need to make up some of the money, right? Yeah. So I think the game plan is once that happens, right? You're both, how much you guys make together right now?
$210.
So when you think about it, in 2 years, you guys have your income will go down from $210 down to $3,800 a month, plus whatever comes out of the, dividends and interest and brokerage and rental. You know what I mean? Like it won't be huge. I think that is when you start tapping into some of these monies that have not yet been taxed. So let's just start with like the two easy ones, because we've got your husband's rollover and your husband's 403b. And I guess also the lump sum is pre-tax also, right?
That's pre-tax. Yep.
So let's pretend that you're 64 years old. And the first thing you can do is say, okay, he's 64 rather. We're going to need some money. Let's just pull all the money out of the old 403. You're probably going to combine everything, but let's just say we're going to take 50, 60 grand out of these pre-tax accounts every year, and maybe it's even going to be more, because there's a great case to be made for those 3 years to pull as much money as you can to keep you, let's say, in the, I'm going to say 22%. You could probably do it up to 24, but let's just say 22%, which means you take the top of that bracket, which is, I'm just going to round it. It's about $200,000, a little more. And you say, okay, well, of that 200, we are going to have $3,800 a month plus odds and ends, but we're going to take we're going to take 150 grand out of my husband's accounts at age 64, 65, 66. Each of those years. I want as much money out of his name in pre-tax assets as possible. I want to pay the tax that's due and not look back. All right?
Okay.
You're going to live on that. It's going to be great. He turned 67. And if you claim it, and you probably could wait till you're 70, but let's just say you want to claim at 67. Now you're going to have his 3,800. You're going to have his Social Security, which you said was 3,100, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And now you're going to pull out maybe a little bit less from these accounts until he is at age 70. And that also is sort of a weird thing, because you might be, let's see, when he's 64, you're how old? You're 58, 59? So we still have a few more years before your pension kicks in. I just want to get as much money, like big picture. I want to try to get as much money out of pre-tax accounts, first his name, then your name, as possible during the years where your income is low. That's what I'm hoping for. And so I would pull first from his pre-tax retirement accounts. I don't even know if you can get rid of all these accounts, but I hope so. Let's say that in those few years.
Now.
You know, it's like because you could retire now. You absolutely could. Do you hate work? Tell me the truth.
I don't mind it.
Does he hate it?
No, he enjoys work. He truly enjoys it much more than I do.
Mark, should we let Chrissy retire? What do you think?
I mean, why not?
I just think I have to be honest with you. Too. Honest to God, you have plenty of money. You really do. And if he likes working, I don't know how the 210 splits up. It sounds like you're sort of close, but yeah, why not? You can do a lot of things in your free time, can't you? You'll learn how to do that.
Tennis, pickleball. I could definitely find.
She's going to be on the pickleball circuit anytime.
I would
right?
be on the pickleball circuit. I'd be going, U.S. Open. I'd love to go to the Australian Open.
Oh, Mark will hook you up. He loves. he's the big tennis fan of this family. I mean, you totally can, Chris. You really can. And
because the other thing we were looking at, is, we figured, we would spend our winters in, somewhere south.
Why? And, Pennsylvania is going to become it's going to become the new snowbird area because of climate change. You might want to stay where you are.
Well, we're definitely going to keep we're not exactly. I agree with you. It's concerning with climate change. But yeah, we would spend, our time, especially our daughter's considering moving down there.
Uh-huh. But so how much more do we have to spend to do that? Like, are we going to need to spend another 25, 30 grand a year on that?
No, I had some higher, I think I would say to rent down there is probably about $6,000 a month.
And you're only going to do it for a few months.
Yeah, I'm only going to do it for 3 months.
Whatever, but add 20. So add 2 grand a month. So we said 9 grand a month. Now you do 11 grand a month. You want to have fun? You should go to a retirement calculator and just plug in all the money you have, all the pension income. Don't forget when they ask you whether your pension is whether you have a COLA or not on yours, that you say no. Mm-hmm. Put in all this income, put in all these savings, and you'll be so delighted. You can stop working now. I don't think there's going to be a big problem with that. I think that the issue is really is it going to be weird for you to retire, but he not? Is that okay with him? Is he going to be like, well, if you're going to retire, then I'm just going to keep working. And by the way, if he keeps working, you will have some health insurance coverage.
Yeah, well, exactly. And that's what he would have. He really needs to work for 2 more years to get up with our daughters, because they're still on the insurance. Yeah. So he would be doing that. And he enjoys it so much that
let him keep working. He can work till he's 70. That's fine. Yeah, don't worry about it.
So and that's what I'm looking forward to him seeing the video then. Or the YouTube. Yeah, this is going to be great, because it was hard to convince him, because he said, well, 2 years, but that I would, I could work another couple years on top of that. And I said, I don't think I need to.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're situated pretty well here.
Yeah. I think you're in great shape. Look, I don't feel like you have to do one thing or the other. So this is now about whether it changes your outlook, knowing that you could, and see how you feel at work. You know what I mean? Like sometimes people will say, well, now that I know I can, call it quits whenever I want, we call that being one bad meeting away. Like one, that's it. You might be like, okay, I'm done. Now, is it a small company or a big company you work for?
A big company.
So they don't care about you, do they?
No.
I hate to say that because I work for a big company and I think they sort of care about us in sort of a general sense, but they don't really. So, I mean, it depends. Like, do you feel like you have to give them a bunch of notice, or how would it be for you? Like, in other words, does it make sense for you to say to them like, hey, I'm going to be calling it quits? Is that important for you to be able to give them a heads up on that?
I would be reasonable with it. I've been there a long time, so I would definitely be, I would provide some type of notice on that. Not significantly long notice, but,
go back to that. Go back to the part, big company, they don't really care about it.
Yeah. Yeah. But it would really depend on how I feel, right?
Totally.
At that point in time.
But like, is your husband making about 100? Is that what's happening for him?
He's around 90.
Okay. So like, let's say at the end of this year, you quit, right? And he's still making his 90. And, that you need a little bit, but I would still in this, then next year, I would take out like $100,000 from his, from probably his rollover account. I might just take it out and get that tax, get it done. Now we're done with that rollover account. It's done. You take you pay the tax that's due. You have cash, you use some money to live on, build up your brokerage account a little bit, do it again the following year. So I just think there's a great opportunity to get the money out of these pre-tax accounts while we know that tax rates are low. Mark probably is chomping at the bit because Mark, you probably want me to take out up to the 24% bracket, don't you?
Yeah, they have a lot of pre-tax money.
It's a lot. It's going to keep growing.
With those pensions, that's a lot of taxable income.
I know. So, I mean, how do you feel about being at the top rate of 24%, Chris, instead of doing 22? It's only 2% more. I mean, you live in Pennsylvania. You have a state income tax, so it's not like zero. But you could take up to, like this year, you could take up to $383,900. So you could work backwards a little bit. You could say, here's the money that we make. Look at your tax return. Do you do your own taxes or do you have someone do it?
We have someone do it.
Talk to the tax planner. Tell them what you're thinking. Hey, I'm going to quit at the end of this year, but we're going to take out as much as we can up to the top of the 24% tax bracket out of hubby's retirement assets till we just get rid of those things. Okay. And I know accountants hate this in some respects because they're like, well, why would you pay at that rate? You don't know. But I think paying 24% is probably pretty reasonable. And I don't see you guys, you're not going to go much below 22%. And it is possible the tax rates go up. And that 1.4 in your account is going to compound and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I don't know what the tax rates are going to be when you're 75 years old. I don't. It's a long time from now. So I'd rather get a bunch of this money out now. We're only focusing on his first because number one, he's over 59 and a half. But number two, he's older. So it would be nice not to have any required minimum distributions until your retirement age, your age where 75. You know what I mean? Like that would be a good thing for you to kind of delay. But that's the game plan. That's where you pull from first. And if you decide you love it down south or your kids move down there and you're like, oh, I want to do this, chances are you'll be able to buy something if you wanted to. See what the market's doing.
Okay, yeah, because that was the other thing. I've always been, looking to possibly, that we consider purchasing down there. But really, it's going to depend on, like where our kids end up. And it's also possible that they could move from there too. So I don't want to relocate and then
just for that. I had a friend who did that. The parents moved down for one of the kids, and then that kid left the area. And it was like, well, what are we doing here in whatever? I think it was Savannah, Georgia. It's like, oh my God. And they ended up moving back up to New York.
Yeah. But we don't want to end up in that type of position either. So
you're in great shape, Chris. Do you want me to just let's conference in your boss and give the notice now together? I think you guys are in
I'm
great
just
shape.
so looking forward to my husband hearing this. This is awesome.
You know what? If he does not believe it, let's get him on the air. But it is not even close. You guys are in great shape. Hey, have you done your estate planning?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
what a good doobie you are. Chris from Pennsylvania, I'm giving you 100 gold stars. You're amazing. Well done. Let's get your husband calm, cool, collected. Chris's husband, listen to us. You're in great shape. Don't worry. You can keep working as long as you want, hubby, but she don't have to work, okay? That's up to you whenever you want to pull that trigger, okay? If you, like Chris and her husband, are not quite sure whether or not you're on the right track, or you don't know which assets to pull from, at what order, and how to manage this, give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button. Let us know if you'd be willing to come on the air live by checking the box. Don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter. It is out every single Friday, and Mark does such a great job with that. You can subscribe to us on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your favorite podcast. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen. And of course, put your hands metaphorically on someone's back. Someone needs a little hug from you. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.